Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the topic of the root causes of the imbalances of the liver, the gallbladder, cholesterol, fatty liver, the stomach, and I'm going to include the spleen since it's all part of that whole system functioning. Did you know that the liver is the only organ that's capable of regenerating itself? Isn't that awesome? And that the word live is contained in that word. I always, when I first thought about that, I thought, wow, the huge responsibility that the liver carries and assists us with. And when it functions imbalanced as it is designed to do, you could go all day and not be hungry. Now, I'm sure there are many of us that would say, I like to experience that from time to time. Now, the imbalances of the liver represents anything you feel you don't have enough of, that you lack, all lack in money, lack in love, trust, respect, recognition, family, support, protection, etc., etc. And when people have such a huge belief that they lack in something, like let's say money, the person gets so worried and concerned about how am I going to survive, how am I going to support the family. An example would also be like an unpregnant pregnancy, a new birth, and now I have one more person to worry about. All of that fear and concern because a person believes they have a lack. So it's a lack of everything that represents the imbalances in the liver. So your question to yourself would be, what do I feel that I lack? In what area do I feel I'm lacking? If you're having a liver imbalance, what is so difficult for you to process and to digest? Now, when I talk about the liver and all of the imbalances, I'm talking about, like I said, fatty liver, cirrhosis, cancer, you name it, everything diagnosed in regards to the liver. Now, cirrhosis, for example, is linked to the cause of the toxic experiences of the family or in the family secrets that are so difficult to filter and process. Now, the emotions of anger and rage really tend to reside in the liver. And the question that I kind of notice comes up with people with so much rage and anger is, where was God in all of this? So if there wasn't any trust in God to begin with, then, the question of where has God been in all of this is going to show up for a lot of people in this situation. And if you did feel you trusted in the divine God, and now you ask yourself this question, perhaps your trust wasn't grounded enough in yourself. And anyway, if you're believing that you have a lack of something, then there is a lack of trust of God to begin with anyway. The gallbladder. Anger and resentment also live in the gallbladder, because the gallbladder and the liver, they're a team. That's what helps us to digest as well. So the fear, the reflection of that fear of losing anything you consider to be your territory, your family, your home, your car, your job, etc. That intense fear that affects the gallbladder. Sometimes, for example, would be like a loss of a battle, of a confrontation, where you feel you lost that battle and now you're going to lose some of your territory. Cholesterol, the root cause of cholesterol is said that is this deep fear behind the not enough, the belief that there's not enough of this or that. Or perhaps there's history in your family history of there being a lot of shortage or even poverty of someone that you, in your history, family tree, that you are repeating and duplicating. Now let's talk about the stomach. But before I do that, let me include the spleen. So the spleen is the organ over on the left side, next door to your pancreas, and your spleen has all the responsibility of assimilating and absorbing everything you take in, whether it be food or experiences. So that's also a part of that whole mix of processing and digesting. So the stomach, which is called the solar plexus chakra, if you are familiar with chakras, there's 7 of them that are the most familiar, one at the abdomen, another one around the belly button, then of course the stomach being the 3rd one, the 4th one your heart, the 5th one your throat, number 6 third eye, pituitary, and number 7 your crown. So the solar plexus chakra is called solar plexus, solar because it represents the sun, and the plexus has to do with the whole network of filtering everything. I mean, your stomach is your major filtration system of everything you consume, everything you witness, everything you see, everything you take in from the outside, and everything that you release outwardly, well, that you're supposed to be anyway. Now, I said the solar plexus represents the sun, of course, and it's, attributed to the word. So the digestive system requires a lot of fire to digest, and it is the most ignited and the strongest at breakfast time, at lunchtime. Right around 3 o'clock, that fire begins to dim, to lower itself. This is why one shouldn't eat very heavy meals for dinner, because that can also be attributed to having trouble sleeping, because you're asking your digestive system that has a little fire at this point in time to digest a big meal. So remember that the fire that it takes to digest is at its lowest flame anytime after 3 o'clock and on forward. So I'm always going to ask you to look at your family tree. Look at your history. Remember the stories that are linked to your experiences that are affecting the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, creating fatty liver, cholesterol, affecting the whole stomach and the digestion. The question is, what has been so traumatic, so hard for you to process and digest, that you yourself experienced or that you witnessed? And that's the sum of it, of all of these organs in the process of digestion. Thank you for listening and sharing if you're drawn to do so. Be well.